Hi, this is Wishop. I have no idea how this is going to go. Screens on screens can kind of be a nightmare. Um, but what I wanted to do was do a teacup reading. So I thought this might be a way that I could show you how I do it and show you what I'm seeing. So this is the teacup for today, and the handle is down here at the bottom. And this is sort of the items closest to you. And then you sort of work your way around this. So I think of this side as the past and this part as heading toward the future. The stuff closer to the rim tends to be stuff that is more urgent or nearer term, and then things get more distant as they get down toward the bottom. Some people see the bottom of the cup as being a danger zone where you don't want to see a lot of stuff accumulate because these can be obstacles or problems. In this cup, there really aren't anything like that. I'm going to show you what I got out of it. There are many, many shapes, and even as I continue looking at it, I will see more and more shapes. But the shapes that suggest themselves to me start to take on a certain narrative. And when I feel like I've got the narrative or the story, so to speak, of the cup, then I feel like I'm done. So you could continue reading the cup for as long as you want. But anyway, hopefully this will work. And showing you these images from my iPad, hopefully you'll be able to see some of the shapes that I saw. Oh, yeah, so many birds in this cup. This is a cup of birds. Now, birds are a shape that tend to show up a lot, but I'm seeing, for example, and this is not in the major reading, but it all goes with it. I'm seeing an owl here. I'm seeing a woodpecker here. So these are larger forces because the bigger an image is, the more important it is. So here's the long woodpecker snout. See? Woodpeckers are very interesting because they were seen as being models of rebirth, because they could basically not gnaw, but drill into old dead wood to make nests. And so their birds would be born, or their babies would be born out of something dead. So they were seen as symbols of rebirth. The owl is obviously a symbol of wisdom. This owl I see sort of in flight. Here's the face, here are the wings, here are the talons coming at us live. And here's like the long nose of the owl. Anyway, those are ones I just saw. And I have another huge bird in this cup, which I'm going to show you, which basically takes up the whole cup. But let's get into reading the parts. I'm going to read it from the past to the center, around the side. And I'm just doing a quick read, so I will let you know really mundane meanings from this cup, and also a little bit more significant meanings. So let me get out here and let me get into here. Okay, so as we start from the left side, so we're starting in the near past. I already marked this up so you could see some more of the birds. The first thing I saw was this sort of flamingo shape with its legs down here. And you are probably not going to see this shape the same way I did, but to me this was a standing figure holding what looked like almost a can in an outstretched arm. And then this figure down here was like a big tortoise, like a big land tortoise or something like that, or a turtle coming to get this canned food. So to me, even though these are funny images, they started suggesting themselves or suggesting a story, because flamingos get their pink color from the shrimp they eat. And if the shrimp are not good quality or the waters are not very healthy, they will lose their pink color and they will fade. And so the idea that this turtle was coming to get like a big can of dog food, and that I had this flamingo here, was pointing to me to a situation that doesn't feel healthy. Now, it could be as simple as over the holidays you got hold of some bad seafood and it's working its way through. And that's, really the biggest deal that's going on, that you just feel a little sick and you're trying to get over feeling sick, especially if you had something like a stomach flu or something of that nature. So that would be the really simple, mundane reading. You're not feeling in the pink like the flamingo. But on a more significant, kind of at a more significant level, this could be that you're in a home situation. You'll see why I'm tying it to home, especially because we're coming out of that Cancer full moon and heading into a Capricorn new moon at the partial solar eclipse on January 5th. And I'll talk more about that in another video. But so we're thinking about things like home and mother, father, and establishment of home and what that means and how to feel secure in our homes. And to me, images like the turtle, and I sort of saw one on the other side too, always speak of the security of having your home on your back. And turtles are seen as secure animals, prosperous, stable. So the idea here is that if I think of this as like a can of food being held just above the turtle's head, like it's not, things aren't quite stable, they're not feeling quite nutritious. So this could be about dietary changes that you're planning to make. Maybe you're thinking about going pescatarian, or maybe you're looking at eating less processed food. So it could be something like that, but it could also be a situation geographically where you live that doesn't feel that healthy for you. It doesn't feel like the waters are friendly to you, if you see what I mean there. So there's the idea, because flamingos are shorebirds and wading birds, that, and this is in the past section with the turtle, that you've been sort of stuck in these brackish waters, perhaps, and you felt like you just had to take what was given to you. You couldn't make a move. Another image I got with this, let me get into the next one. Oh, where did he go? Oh, where did my little friend go? At the bottom of this one, well, I guess I won't bother with it, but at the bottom of this, the image I just showed you, I also had a rabbit head. So the rabbit head down here was making me think of, yes, fertility, and it was leading toward the now of the cup, the central now, where we are today. And having the rabbit's head made me think of Alice in Wonderland's White Rabbit and being late, and with the tortoise and the hare together, and the idea of I've been stuck too long and it's too late. This isn't healthy for me. This isn't good for me, but it's too late to make a change. I'm just stuck. So let me get into this one here. I just made a little mark here so you could see what I see here. Let me see. I don't know that my hands will be steady enough to do this. Can you see this bird up here? So here are the wings. What I saw in this was that this entire sort of ridge of what looks like an obstacle, like a wall that you can't get through, is culminating in this bird in flight. And oh, here, look, I can show you. There's my little rabbit head. Can you see him? So there's my little late, very important date rabbit head. So I was seeing more little birds here, and their heads were all facing upwards. And we have this bird in flight. So it seems like right now in the current period, you're thinking about taking flight on something, and it could be an actual change of location. I think this would especially be true if you're thinking about living either away from the water or near the water, like making some change related to living by water, that or related to maybe you've been flooded where you are, or maybe you're dealing with maybe needing to dig a new well, or you're by salt water and you'd rather be by fresh water, something like that. But it looks like actually near term you're going to be able to take flight or make some movement on this. If you can let go of thinking it's too late. I don't think it is too late. I think it might turn out to be the perfect time. I mean, the white rabbit runs by talking about how late he is, but because he's late, Alice sees him and follows him, and that's where the adventure begins, if that makes any sense. So let me get to the other side of the cup. Okay, so as I move around more toward the future side of the cup, and there is no explaining why a person sees what they see precisely, and other people look for standard symbols like hearts and crosses and dots and shapes of initials. And if I see them, I'll certainly report them. But a lot of times what I see are figural. I see images. I see things that remind me of mythology and storybooks. I see tableaus. So that's what I'm sharing here. So what I saw here, which you may not precisely see, but I saw a house on sticks, like a little house on stilts, which again made me think of a house over the water. And this, where I put this green line, this to me was a little snake. Now, why, of all of the things here, I saw this snake and not other ones? That's kind of the magic of it. But here we have another kind of a little snaky figure. So the idea is that if you lift a house up off its foundations, oftentimes you find in warm weather places, like Florida, places like that, you have snakes underneath the foundation. So the idea here could be that if you're in a situation that has not been healthy for you, you are going to take flight from it because you're going to look deep into the foundation of the issues, and you're going to spy the snakes and get them out of the foundation, so to speak. So it could be that people who have been a problem or underlying issues that have been a problem are moved out. Also, snakes can relate to complications, and of course they can relate to plumbing. And when I say plumbing, that also means human plumbing. So again, we have the idea of the intestines, your house, your foundation, your physical body, your temple. You're getting rid, the snakes in your guts are going away. So you should be feeling better soon, hopefully. But the idea is this could be related to your nutrition or digestion. But if this is a house on stilts, it could be that you are looking for a new house, and you may have initially some complications around getting it, but you're going to be able to acquire it. If it's a house on stilts, it could be because it's by the water, but it could also be because you look deep into the foundation. There is a big, which I will show you, I'll show you these guys in a minute, but to me there's a big scorpion here, which of course symbolizes Scorpio, which is a very investigative sign. It also symbols a timing issue. So the time of the year would be October, November for making a move or seeing the move completed. It could be that you take action, take flight on something right now. You thought you were too late to get involved with this job, this issue, this whatever. You decide you're going to do it anyway. And by October, November of 2019, you've made concrete progress on it. So these images I see, again, hard to explain why these jump out and not others. Feel free to see whatever you see and let it speak to you. Sometimes you see something and you can't unsee it. To me, this was like the shape of a cat. See this long tail and these haunches? It was like a cat on its back feet with its paws up. And this, to me, looked like a bird on a perch. And the two of them with their heads together and like the paw meeting one of the talons, it looked sort of like a crest, like a family crest. And these might be unusual things coming together. Since it's a cat and a bird, they might be seen historically as enemies, but here they are coming together. So there's this idea that you're putting opposites together in an unusual way, or you're resolving antagonism. If these snakes were snakes in your house, meaning opposing forces, non-harmonious forces, complicating issues, you will be able to harmonize those two issues into a new sense of solidarity. This idea of like a family motto or a family crest, the establishment of something new. And that's another reason why when I saw this house, I thought, oh, well, we're changing house and we're putting up a new family crest, a new family motto. So it could be that you are joining with someone else and you're going to get a house with them, and that will require chasing some of this opposition away. And that will occur sometime around October, November of 2019. But I saw this as a real coming together of the strongest points of two what might look like opposing characters, but which can be complementary characters, especially if they're putting their strengths in the service of a bigger ideal. So this is not about the cat's personal wishes or the bird's personal wishes, which might not be to be hand in hand with each other in the way that they are, but it's about the bigger picture, so to speak, bigger picture. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is I'll just show you just because it's kind of fun. This is my giant scorpion with its like great big claws, or giant lobster if you're thinking that you've got a seafood problem. Anyway, let me get to the big picture here. So when I look from the left side of the cup again, and this is just a quickie, see this image within image is kind of difficult, but do you see how this looks like the head of a peacock and the body of a peacock? So it means that when I look around the entire cup, here's the head of the peacock, here's the body with all the feathers coming around, and here's how we start with this issue. Now you can really, I hope you can really see it. See that little flamingo there? So here we have the flamingos, and we've got this issue with the turtle, and we move all the way around. Here's where we are in the now. We sort of take flight from this area of opposition, and we move towards things like the new house, even if we have to drive out a few snakes or deal with complications. Here's the scorpion again. Here's also what I saw as the owl and the woodpecker, which too tells me the need, like in Scorpio, to be vigilant, to be careful, and also because the peacock has the tail full of eyes. So there's the notion here somehow of new sight, of seeing things in a new way that gives you a new sense of identity, a new sense of pride. The peacock was Hera's sacred bird and was related also to a giant named Argos, I believe, who had 1,000 eyes, and in some ways represents the night sky, like the song, "The night has 1,000 eyes." The idea that the stars see everything, or that certain deities that are kind of watchers or witnessers, like Mercury or the Hermes at the crossroads, they see all, they monitor everything, and they know who's on the naughty list and who's on the nice list. So the idea here of being vigilant and trusting that you can uncover the kind of solutions you need, whether or not your issue is maybe you need to make a nutritional change, maybe you got a hold of some bad seafood, I hope that's not the case, or maybe you're ending up migrating with all these birds, you're migrating somewhere else, and you're going to have to work through some complications on your way to establishing this bright new future. So this future home or this new family, joining new elements together and getting rid of elements that aren't working. So I hope you found that interesting. I may not always read a teacup in this detailed a fashion, but I wanted you to just get an idea of how I do it and the way I work from one side to the other and the kind of images I see. And so I may want to do more frequent teacup reads, but I'll probably just do, unless you tell me you really want the step-by-step walkthrough, I might just do something like this where you just get the whole teacup and I just kind of quickly walk through the elements so that you can see, get a quick takeaway message from it. because I think that way it can be good for a short-term read, like a daily read kind of a thing, or every couple days. Who knows how it'll work. But anyway, this, at least you got the idea of the full blown thing. So please let me know what you think in the comments. I really do appreciate your likes if you like it. If you don't like it, don't bother. But also, if there are any comments about teacup reads or what else you might like to see, what would be fun or interesting? Do you like the longer form style, or would you like it to be shorter and snappier? You let me know, and I appreciate your time. And as always, I appreciate you. You are a marvel, so please don't forget. And until the next time, rock on with your bad selves.